every week I start the meal planning process the same. I look and see what is in season, what's out in the garden, what do I have available to me in our long-term storage pantry, and then I will jot down the meals that I can easily make with just only getting a few ingredients from the store. Well, hi, my name is Brianna, and if this is your first time here, my husband Gray and I like to learn, practice, and teach our children traditional skills. Because one of my jobs is to take the ingredients that are provided for me, either by our hard work outside or what we bring home from the grocery store, and make delicious, beautiful meals, I have to get creative sometimes. So today we're going to be taking a classic strawberry shortcake and making a really easy raspberry shortcake. These are single-served cakes, and they're made in a muffin tin, and that makes it really easy for someone like me who's a homeschooling mother of 4, and I don't have to worry about rolling anything out and cutting like a little biscuit, which is traditionally how shortcakes are made. I simply make the batter and pour it into the muffin tin and bake it, and we have a little single serving of shortcake that I can top with homemade whipped cream and berries, and the kids just love it. I like this recipe because it can be easily doubled, so you can make 2 batches. This recipe makes a dozen, but you can easily make 2 dozen and just stir the mixing bowl up once and then pop the rest in the freezer. And because we don't eat dessert every day, it's really nice to have a single serving one at a time, either when you have guests or when your kids just want a special treat. And so it can last you all through berry season, and you can actually use a variety of different kind of berries as you need them. And as always, keep in mind before we get started that I have this recipe on my blog, and so you can hop on over by visiting the description box below and clicking the link. So to get started, preheat your oven to 400 degrees and grease a muffin pan. I have this huge muffin pan that actually does 24 muffins at once, which is nice because we go through them with 4 kids in the house. But you want to grease your muffin pan, whatever size you're using. I usually just grease mine with butter because I have found that this is consistently what allows my baked goods not to stick, and we always have it on hand. The first thing you want to do is get your raspberries and sugar and mix them up in a bowl. Cover them and put them in the fridge or even on the countertop. I don't think you need to put them in the fridge unless you're making this a day in advance, but you could just get them mixing so that the sugar can kind of start melting and the berries can create that delicious juice that gets poured over the cake. Once your raspberries are all mixed up, it's time to move on to the batter. Start by melting your butter and combining that with the sugar until it is creamy and completely combined. Next, add your egg, your vanilla, your flour, baking powder, milk, and your lemon zest. Now, I am using here freeze-dried lemon powder because that's what we had on hand. I just got done processing all of our lemons, and so we had freeze-dried lemon powder that is basically the whole lemon freeze-dried to add that freshness. But I would definitely add the lemon zest because this kind of brightens the cake and it just makes it taste so much better. After you have your batter all mixed up, pour them evenly into the muffin tin. Put the cakes in the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes. I like to set my timer for 18 minutes just so that I can make sure they don't get too brown. While your shortbread is in the oven, it's time to prepare the whipped cream. Now, this step you don't have to do, but I highly recommend it. When whipped cream and berries are the star of the show, I think it's best to really go all out on these ingredients. Simply add your whipping cream, your confectioner's sugar, and your vanilla to a bowl. So you can either just do this in a KitchenAid mixer, which is what I typically do, but we may or may not have misplaced the whisk attachment on my KitchenAid. We will find it. However, yes, it is missing. So I'm going to be making mine in mason jars, so it doesn't take very long either, but I would enlist the help of someone who has big muscles or a lot of energy. So when Gray's home, I usually enlist his help or hand a jar to the kids and they go to town. Once the whipped cream is all mixed, you can put it in the fridge until it's time for serving. When your muffins are ready, simply take them out of the oven, transfer them to a cooling rack so that they can start cooling down. You don't want to cut into these until they are completely cool. And I should note that you don't want to serve them until they are completely cool either, since they'll be served with a whipped cream and a berry. I do not recommend assembling these in advance. These are kind of a make and serve right as you put them together kind of food. But when you are ready to serve, slice the muffin in half And then I like to use the bottom half of the muffin as the base. So you're gonna put the really thin little shortcake on the plate, and then layer your berries and your whipped cream. And then I like to stick the muffin, the top of the muffin, upside down so that the top of the cake is actually flat. Then repeat the process. You're going to do the top of the shortcake, berries and cream. And then of course you have to top it with just a single raspberry because it makes it look so pretty. And serve these to your kids or family or guests or whoever you have. And it is such a fresh and delicious way to celebrate berry season. Well, thank you for coming along with me in my kitchen today, and I will see you next time.